Hey there, welcome back friends. In our last video, we have added this very simple looking, very simple page listing images. Now in this video, we will start implementing the business logic behind this page. So let's get started. Now friends, what exactly is listing of images? We are listing information which we have in the database. Now once we have the list, we can definitely add in a loop and list down the information on this page. Now the first logical step is definitely getting the list from the database. So let us do that. We already have the entity class, so we need not to worry about it. But now let us update our files data access object file, and here is the file. Currently we only have one single method by the name of add file details, but now moving forward, let us add in a yet another method. This would be again a public method. Return type would be a list, and it would be list of what? It would be list of file. Name would be list files, and that's it. Now friends, in here we have something known as a get method. Let me show you how. In here I can type in session equals factory dot get current session. Then once we get this session, we can begin the transaction. Now once we have begun the transaction, we can get a information specifically for a key, and the way is very simple. It would be like session dot get, and firstly we can pass on the class, the entity class, which is files dot class, right? And then moving forward, in here we can type in the primary key, for example 1. Now friends, in our case we want to return a list of file, right? Now in order to pass on a list of file, what we need to do? We need to get an entire record set, entire result set. In order to get that, this get method is not sufficient. We don't want a specific method, we want the entire list. In order to get the entire list, we have something known as HQL. Now friends, I already have a comprehensive course on Hibernate with Java. If you would like to know more about Hibernate, do check out my course on Hibernate. That will definitely help. But more or less, I will try to cover all the stuff from that course in this course itself. So let's move forward. In here, we have something known as create query. And in here, the criteria of the query would be very simple. We need to give a partial query, which is from and then name of the table. Let me show you the name of the table. Name of the table is files. So in here, we will type in files. Now friends, there is a catch in here. This files is in fact not the table name. Rather, this is the name of the entity class. Let me show you. In here, we have already given the name as files. So this files, this name is referred in our partial query. So take a note of it. If we skip using this particular parameter, there would be a crash. Alright, now moving forward, in here we will type in get result list. Now friends, this will return a list. Now there is yet another catch. If we are making use of Hibernate version 5.2 or above, then this particular statement is perfectly fine. But if you are making use of a older version of Hibernate, then directly call in the list method in here, which would be like this. Alright, so there is something to take a note of. Let me undo the changes because the current version which we are using is 5.3. And once you are done with like getting the list, we need to also receive the list on a list, right? So in here we will type in list. It would be list of files type. In fact, in here the name of this particular class is what? This is files, right? So it would be Firstly, let me import the required packages, and it would be not file, it would be like file. All right, and we will like receive this particular list inside a list of files, and we will give the name as files equal session dot create query from files get result list. This seems to be good enough, and once we are done with it, we will simply call an session dot get transaction dot commit. All right, and that's it in fact. And we will test whether we are getting perfect information via this particular method or not in a minute, but let me show you one small little thing. I have already added some sample data in our database using the form, so we have some sample data with us. Alright, coming back to this particular method, it is showing some kind of issue. Alright, we need to like return the information. We have forgot that. That's a silly mistake. So let us return files. Alright, now things would be perfect. Alright, now let's navigate to our servlet. Alright, so here is our servlet, right? So we have already implemented the switch case inside our toPost method, and we have a case for listing images, which is amazing. Now we simply need to update this method listing images, and our work should be done. Later down the line in our next video, we will also update the JSP page a little. Alright, so in here, first of all, let us create a list. It would be list of files, and the name could be like files, and in here we will type in new files DAO dot list files. Alright, and as soon as we call in this method, a list would be returned, and this list can be forwarded to this page. And the way is again very simple. We will type in request dot set attribute. The name of the attribute would be like files, and we will pass on the information which is files. Now apart from this files information, we will also pass on the information of the path. So let us also do that. So in here we will type in request dot set attribute, and the name would be like path, and value would be again path. Alright, now the information of files would be available in here. Alright, now friends, in order to make things even simpler, let us quickly navigate to this entity class files.java, and in here let us also quickly add the toString method. And using this toString method, we would be able to display the information in a readable form very quickly. So now let us quickly navigate to this list file.jsp file, and in here let us quickly display the information like this. So it would be like percentage equals, and in here we will type in request dot get attribute, and we will simply display files. Alright, so this looks good to me. Let me quickly check the DAO once again. Everything looks good, but we are like returning the files before committing, and in fact when we are listing information, this particular statement is optional, and if we commit before returning the file, there would be an exception. So let me comment this out, and let us quickly run this application on the web server. Here we go. Let me upload one of the file real quick, and here is the output. Perfect. The IDs and the file name are retrieved successfully, which is cool. Alright, so in our next video we will like dig more into it, and we will try to handle this view file, this overall view of this web page in a more efficient manner. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day and take care.